What is up everyone, my name is Jasper and as many of you may know, I've been a Project 24 member for a little over 3.5 years now. And during those 3.5 years, a lot of things have changed. Jim has left the company, which is probably the biggest change because Jim was basically 50% off Income School. But Income School has also changed their approach to search analysis and keyword research. They have put some new tactics into place to judge search volume. And their focus has been shifted a lot more towards YouTube nowadays. So a lot of things have changed since I first started with Project 24. But one thing that has stayed consistent all throughout those years is our Content Warrior Challenge. Now this is a challenge where you basically need to write 60,000 words in just 1 month. So that averages out to be about 2,000 words a day, and that is something that is definitely doable but still challenging. Now this Content Warrior Challenge is really something that many people in the community are looking forward to. It happens twice a year and during those months basically the whole community is trying to write as many words as they can. And we're currently in March of 2022 and we're in the middle of one of those Content Warrior months. Now so far we're about halfway through the month and collectively everyone in the Project 24 community has written about 3.4 million words so far. So that's a lot, and well, you do have to keep in mind that there are a lot of members in Project 24, but still 3.4 million words is a lot of words. But as I said, the Content Warrior Challenge is really something people are looking forward to, and there are basically two rules in place. The very first one is every video or podcast you create counts as 2,000 words. On top of that, of course, every word you write is also an additional word, so your normal articles, but also your about pages or your privacy policies or whatever. Most people just count content, but you can count any word you write. And on top of that, you can also outsource as much as you want. This is not necessarily a challenge for you to write as much as you can. This is a challenge for you to put out as much content as you can. So if you want to outsource all 60,000 words or if you want to outsource 1 million words, it doesn't really matter. These can all count towards the challenge. Now in order to join the Content Warrior Challenge, you need to be a member of Project 24. But you really don't need to be a member of any sort of course to set yourself these kinds of challenges. Personally, I always pick an extra 1 or 2 months where I really try to push the boundaries of my capabilities. So this means that with the Content Warrior Challenges, there's about 3 or 4 months a year where I really try to do a large content push. Now the main reason for that is that these content pushes, they will be so valuable in the future. So I've got this graph right here and the red line indicates every single time a Content Warrior Challenge has happened. Now I do have to say that during these times I was writing everything myself and I was averaging about 40 to 60,000 words a month anyway. So in most cases the Content Warrior Challenge didn't really influence anything. But in March of 2020 I went a little beyond that and I wrote 110,000 words all by myself. Now if you look at that graph right there and you look at it 6 months later, you can see that there's a pretty huge uptick in traffic. At least everything was growing a lot faster than it used to do. Now I'm looking 6 months in the future because it usually takes 6 to 8 months before an article really starts to pull some traffic. But in my case, for this website, at this point, my articles were getting indexed a lot faster and things were starting to move a lot faster. But still, after 6 months, you can see a substantial influence of these 110,000 words. Now this 110,000 words is of course a lot more, but if you put things into perspective and you average around 20 to 30,000 words a month usually, but take these Content Warrior Challenges or any sort of challenge you set yourself and you write about 60,000 words, you will still see a positive result from that in the future. Now of course I said that I really only saw these results from the one in March of 2020, but that is because I really pushed myself above and beyond that time. During all of the other months, I was basically writing just a little bit more. So there isn't really this large difference to see because the difference between 40,000 words and 60,000 words isn't all that much in terms of actual content put out. During this time, most of my articles were around 2,000 words anyway. So that's really a difference of about 5 to 10 articles every month. Now during 2021 there were of course 2 more Content Warrior Challenges, and why I'm not really seeing the results from those is because I was really just dividing all of those words among my multiple sites. In 2021 I owned a lot more sites than I did in 2019 and 2020, so there was a lot more sites that needed to be written for. Anyway, the main point is that if you really push yourself above and beyond, 6 to 8 months later you will thank yourself for that when the sudden increase in traffic happens. So how have I been doing so far? So we're currently halfway through March and I'm sad to say that I really haven't been publishing that much at all. So I've created 2 videos, the one from last week and this one right now. And I've published a few articles here and there. But as you may have seen in last video, I really haven't been feeling all that well this month. Most of March I really just spent in bed trying to get better, and that really didn't leave that much time for me to write a lot of content. Now of course that's really not the best of excuses, but it is the truth. I really haven't been feeling all that well. But luckily I've been starting to get better, so right now it is time for an end sprint. I have about half of the month left and I need about 40,000 words extra. So that's what I'm going to do. And how I'm going to get there is by ordering the last couple of articles that I still have left with rewrite blog posts and then just writing a lot myself. The theme of the remainder of this month really just comes down to me having to write, and that's what I'm going to do. I also really need to make up for the lack of articles I published in February, so there's a lot of work to do. Now the main goal right now is to at least get to the 30 article average that I set out in my 2022 goal video, so I want to average about 30 articles every single month in the first quarter. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm sure I'm going to get there. But one last thing I really wanted to touch on is what this challenge is actually about. And to be fair, I don't think this challenge is about writing those 60,000 words. I think it is actually all about seeing what you're capable of. And of course, the 60,000 words is just a number. There are so many people out there that produce a lot of content. They may produce 60,000 words a week. So the 60,000 really is just a number they set in place because most people in Project 24 are beginners. So really this number is something that you need to make for yourself and really try to push yourself, because that's what this challenge is all about. It's about pushing yourself and seeing what you're capable of. Now of course it's not expected that this approach is sustainable. I don't think you can push yourself every single month over and over again and not get burned out or something. But really try to get these challenges in every now and then and see how much your site and your work ethic will improve. Because one thing I can tell for sure, and that's when I first started, I wrote about 20,000 words on average. And then the Content Warrior Challenge came along and I wrote 60,000 words. Let me just tell you, it is really difficult to go back to that 20,000 words average. Because going back to your normal word count really will start to feel like a huge step back. And that's not really what you want to do. So even though writing the 60,000 words every single month may not be sustainable, at least you will improve your average article output per month. Anyway, I know that this has been a bit of a random video. I didn't necessarily want to make a video about the Content Warrior Challenge itself, because honestly that's something from Income School and Project 24. It's not really mine, but I did want to talk about the philosophy behind setting these challenges. I think it's extremely important to challenge yourself every now and then. Even if you can't sustain that article output in the future, at least you would have added a lot of articles that will benefit you in the future, but you will also show yourself what you're capable of. Anyway, that is it for this video. I really want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!